This is not a story the government chose to tell. It's a story they were forced to. On June 12th, 2026, the United States Department of War released its third tranche of declassified UAP files under a federal program called Pursue, Presidential Unsealing and Reporting System for UAP Encounters. The portal went live on May 8th. In 5 weeks, it received 1.7 billion hits worldwide. That's not public curiosity. That's something else. And buried inside that third release, 72 files spanning 1947 to 2025, was a cluster of reports that didn't fit any of the standard explanations. 4 videos, 7 FBI field records, 2 federal agents who stopped being spectators and became witnesses. The location is redacted. The subject's identity is redacted, but the orbs are not. The subject is described as a private resident living near a secluded pond in the northeastern United States. Precise location redacted. The FBI assessed him as credible. That matters. Federal agents don't open a case file on someone they don't believe. The sightings began in 2021. They did not stop. Over 4 years, this individual captured what he was seeing on a cell phone. 4 separate videos, and he reported every one of them to the Federal Bureau of Investigation. In November of 2024, 2 FBI field agents drove out to his property to see for themselves. They saw something. What they saw is now part of the public record for the first time. Video 1, 2021. A single orb, bright, distant, stationary at first. Then it replicates. One light becomes 3 over the span of roughly 2 minutes on a phone camera in a backyard in the Northeastern United States. Video 2, 2022. 2 orbs, a deeper reddish hue, hovering in proximity to each other, not moving independently, moving together. The declassified file describes them as appearing to be, quote, tethered together, unquote. No known drone, swarm technology produces light of that color profile, or that behavioral cohesion at zero sound output. Video 3, 2024. Duration, 4 minutes and change. A single orb, brightly colored, appears to change size. The object is documented at approximately 2,700 feet above a pond. FBI field notes describe it as a, quote, plasma-like sphere, quote. At times, the primary light source appeared to separate into smaller luminous points. A luminous point below the primary source hovered just above the water and did not appear consistent with a surface reflection. It remained stationary for approximately 45 minutes. Then it disappeared. Video 4, 2025. 2 reddish orbs, hovering together, the subject's own written account. States he observed these objects, quote, in the vicinity of, and sometimes as close as 200 yards from his residence. 200 yards. That's the length of 2 football fields from his front door. But the videos are not the most unsettling part of this file. A separate FBI report, also released June 12th, documents a second witness, a neighbor, Two individuals standing in a backyard late at night. A sudden, intense, bright light in the middle of the yard. The first person described the object as a red sphere, approximately 1 meter wide. Inside the sphere, quote, a white plasma sun the size of a basketball. One of the witnesses told federal investigators, and I'm reading directly from the declassified report here, that the red color was, quote, brilliant and beautiful, and that they had never seen anything that color of red before. Then a second orb appeared. The two spheres appeared tethered, moving in tandem. They moved away from the property. Several weeks later, the same witnesses reported seeing multiple white orbs, same location, same property line, different configuration. The primary witness contacted the FBI in October 2024, not because he was afraid, because he had footage, four separate recordings spanning 4 years, and he wanted answers. The Bureau sent two agents. In November 2024, they arrived at his property. They conducted a site assessment, and then the objects appeared. The agents observed an array of unexplained lights. That detail is not secondhand. It is not filtered through a witness account. Two credentialed federal law enforcement officers observed unidentified anomalous phenomena at a private residence in the Northeastern United States. Their field notes became part of the formal case file. That case file, with fewer redactions than any prior release, is now public. Here's where this case stops being a local curiosity, because the Northeastern Orb cluster is not alone in the Pursue files. Inside the same third release, a separate incident, Western United States, October 2023, 5 federal law enforcement officers, not civilians, federal agents. They observed lights in coordinated groups, instantly accelerating red lights, in formation, and then smaller orbs emerging from a larger orange light. The FBI produced digital renderings of their accounts in 2026 to visually reconstruct what the agents described. Same color profile, red, white, orange, same behavioral pattern, formation movement, splitting, merging, two different locations, multiple federal witnesses at both sites, zero acoustic signature reported at either. The Pursue portal currently catalogs 72 files in the third release alone. Total site traffic since May 8th, 1.7 billion page loads. The government has not issued a definitive explanation for any of these incidents. What they've done is something more significant. They've published the evidence and left the question open. Let's talk about what the videos actually show. Behavioral characteristic 1, replication. In the 2021 footage, a single orb becomes 3. No separation event, no visible mechanical deployment. One source, 3 returns. Behavioral characteristic 2, tandem movement. Across the 2022 and 2025 recordings, 2 objects move in synchronized, patterns with no observed physical connection. Witnesses in the FBI case file both use the word tethered. Behavioral characteristic 3, shape and luminosity shift. The 2024 footage, 4 minutes and 19 seconds, documents a single object cycling through size variations while maintaining a fixed positional hold approximately 2,700 feet above water. Behavioral characteristic 4, sub-object deployment. The declassified case notes describe a secondary luminous point that's separated from the primary source and hovered just above the water's surface. No reflection. The file is explicit on that point. A luminous point, quote, did not appear consistent with a surface reflection, unquote. And across all 4 recordings, all 7 FBI records, and the 2-agent November field observation, 0 acoustic signature, no engine noise, no rotor wash, no propulsion sound of any kind. Here's what the Pursu files do not contain. They do not contain the raw GPS coordinates of the sighting location. Redacted. They do not contain the full identity of the primary witness. Redacted. They do not contain the complete text of the FBI agent field reports from November 2024. Redacted. Witnesses reported anomalous readings, gamma radiation spikes, electronics interference. The file acknowledges those claims, but no raw instrument logs were included in the release. No independent sensor validation. No environmental data chain of custody. What was measured? When? By whom? What the readings actually said. All of it sits behind a solid black block. The Department of War has confirmed additional Pursue releases are coming on a rolling basis, which means somewhere in a federal archive right now, there are files that haven't been cleared yet. Files that cover the gap between what was observed at that pond and what the agents wrote down when they got back in the car. The portal says the next release is coming, but the thing that hovered 45 minutes above that water, the thing that split into smaller lights and disappeared without a sound, that still doesn't have a, we might have had the answers, except for the very last line of the FBI report. The agents explicitly wrote, attached to this interview were photos taken by agents at the permission of, and then the document stops. The attachments are completely missing. Were the physical photos of this plasma sun scrubbed from the release, or are they buried deeper in the archives? Look at the footage again. Tell me what you see in the comments. Until the next video, stay curious, stay engaged.